We're live. Welcome back, guys. It's Awesome Hardware. Hey, with me and Paul.
Hey, guys.
If you guys haven't seen Part A or Side A, you can go ahead and check it out on Paul's channel, Paul's Hardware. And what now? We're about to do a show.
What else do we say at the beginning of the show?
I don't know. That's about it. So why don't we just jump right into it?
This is the Awesome Hardware Show. We do it every week on Tuesday evenings at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time.
That's
on
right.
Twitch.tv/awesomehardware. If you guys are watching us live, thanks for sticking with us. This is the second half of the show. And what else? Buy shirts.
Yeah, buy shirts. Paul'sHardware.net. AwesomeSauceNetwork.com/store.
Yeah, we're
sweet.
We're really.
We're totally nailing it right now.
Our enthusiasm for the shirt sales is just waning steadily.
You can only say it so many times.
Kyle, do you have any announcements for your half of the show that you can say while I pull up all of your websites?
Oh, great. Now I have to have announcements. Well, I'm still selling shirts that are almost sold out.
I already said that.
Stay tuned for more shirts. Sorry I'm a little out of breath. I just ran downstairs and ran back up with more beer for me and Paul, so I'm a little short of breath, but
it's okay.
But I got this to get me through it.
Sticking with it.
I'll be all right. But yeah, announcements. Buy some shirts, you know? I mean, you need clothes on your back. You can't just walk into a store and expect them to serve you food if you don't have a shirt on your back. So, get some clothes, damn it.
I like it.
Yep. That accent was totally warranted.
It's gonna...
It was needed.
Sell lots of shirts there,
We're selling out really quick.
I am now prepared for your half of the show.
You're prepared. All right. So continuing off where Paul left off. Sorry. Continuing off from Paul's segment. Haha. There we go. We're going to be talking about some news here. We got some tech news. Straying away from FreeSync and G-Sync and whatnot. I've just got some general topics here. First off, there was an article on Hexus about the AMD Radeon 300 series that basically there's going to be a lot of rebranding going on, which I guess a lot of us already expected. You can definitely hope to see that the 380X and the 390X will still have a new architecture, especially with that HBM, the high bandwidth memory that we've all been looking forward to. But as far as the lower end or even the mid-tier cards, we're going to be seeing a lot of rebranding. So according to videocards.com, we've been using them a lot lately because they've got all this stuff about video cards that I can't find anywhere else. So basically the R9 370 will be a Radeon R9 270 rebrand, as well as the 340X and 350X will be rebranded R7 250 cards. And then the R7 340 will be a rebrand of the R7 240. The R5 310 will be a rebrand of the R5 235. And I think that's pretty much it. So if you guys really want the new high bandwidth memory, you're gonna have to opt for something like one of AMD's high end cards, the 380 or the 390X.
So this was kind of rumored, because there've been rumors about the 300 series for quite some time.
Yeah.
There was a point where we were expecting them like in March, but obviously that's not the case. At least. Yeah, no one's expecting them in March anymore.
Right.
We heard they're going to be pushed back to June Computex time, which wouldn't be uncommon. That's a very popular time and location to launch new hardware.
Yes.
But what we had heard was hopefully because they were pushed back, this might not be the case where we'd see a lot of rebrands or rebadges of existing hardware. You know, you take your 290Xs and they become 380Xs.
Yeah. You enable some more SMX shaders and whatnot.
Yeah, but according to the Hexus.net article here, we might still see lots of rebadges.
That's what it's looking like. Again, these are just rumors and speculation, but I feel like out of all the rumored tech sites, videocards.com does a pretty good job of delivering some element of truth to their rumors.
What are you talking about?
What?
Videocards.com?
Yeah.
No,
no. A couple of the rumors I've found to be true, and I was just like, oh, okay.
I have found the rumors to be true. I guess what I'm saying is that is a site that deals largely in rumor. Like
that's why I said one of the out of all the tech rumor sites.
But do you know how many of them have not been true?
I haven't been counting, but I'm sure it's not 100%.
Okay.
I'm just saying, out of the ones that I've personally read about,
they definitely have some connections over there at videocards.com. So that's definitely where we hear a lot of stuff.
Yes.
But as with anything, until the manufacturer has come out and stated here's what it is, or done a launch event or something like that, it's all still up in the air. So
yeah. Moving on, Microsoft has some plans for its Spartan browser, soon to be a good replacement for IE, Internet Explorer 11. So originally, back in January, Microsoft had said that both browsers were going to be offered with the same engine. Both would actually have the new Edge engine as well as the existing Trident engine that IE currently runs on. But now Spartan is claimed to only include the Edge rendering engine, while IE 11 will only include Trident engine. So, I mean, I guess the reason why is, well, first off, the engine is kind of like the heart and soul of a browser, right? It handles all of the under the hood type programming. And like all the instructions, basically. It carries out all the instructions in order to create a web page or run a web page app. So it's very important, very crucial to any browser. So basically, initially, like I said, Microsoft was going to do both engines for both browsers, so that in the event that developers or even users wanted to go back and run certain applications or web pages on the legacy engine, they'd be able to do that on the Trident platform. But like I said, Edge, the new Edge engine, will only be on Spartan. So I think what Microsoft has realized is that a lot of developers have been opting into the new engine more rapidly than expected. And also it's been found that relatively few sites seem to require the fallback to the legacy engine of Trident. So it's actually becoming more and more obsolete, more than they initially thought. So the Edge rendering, actually, the engine is based off of the Trident engine. So it's kind of a branch, but it's just been heavily optimized for new standards and interoperability and stuff like that. So I don't know. It looks like Spartan might be eclipsing IE 11 a lot more than I initially thought.
Is the upshot of this that I can tell Cortana to get me a beer?
Apparently you can do that on nearly any platform, because apparently Cortana is also coming to iOS and Android and stuff too.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I
brilliant.
heard.
That's a good idea.
Yes.
They should definitely do that.
She's everywhere. She'll be like Hal from 2001: Space Odyssey.
So, have you dabbled with Windows 10 at all, Kyle?
I haven't had time, but I should make time because it's new and exciting.
So let me ask you, if you had, let's say you had tomorrow,
okay,
and you had nothing to do. I know that's just a fantasy.
Yeah, I wish. Jeez.
But let's say you had tomorrow, you had nothing to do, and you had a blank new little computer.
Yeah.
Would you drop Windows 10 onto it and start messing around with that? These are your only two options for the day, by the way.
Okay.
Would you drop Windows 10 and mess around with that?
Ooh.
Or delve into like a Linux distro? Because I've been asking myself this question lately.
I would probably go Windows 10 because the Linux distro, it's a time sensitivity thing, right? Windows 10 is like the up-and-coming operating system that everyone's talking about. It would probably benefit me to know more about that operating system than Linux distro at this given moment in time.
That's probably true.
I can always go back and research Linux distros and stuff and familiarize myself with that. But in terms of like what's current and what's, what I should be in the know of, I think Windows 10 is definitely where it's at the moment. And I'm personally curious, to see what kind of improvements or adjustments they've made over Windows 8.1.
The other funny thing I feel about Windows 10 is like, because there's such a established stigma, at least it seems like amongst the community who's familiar with it, with the every other launch that Microsoft has somehow managed to uphold for a while.
Like good shit, good shit, good shit.
Yeah, and Windows 7 everyone loved.
Yeah.
And then so Windows 8, there was this, I mean, granted they screwed the pooch with Windows 8. They did some really stupid stuff. So they were upholding their own end of the bargain there, but I feel like the enthusiasm or like the potential for Windows 10, people are it's like on the uptick.
Yeah,
it's not like with Windows 8 where people are like, "Oh, I hope it doesn't suck."
Right, exactly.
It's more like, "Oh, Windows 10, like what are they doing with it?" Like and that kind of thing. So
that goes to show like the best branding like slogan that Windows could come up with their new operating system would be Windows 10. It's not Windows 8.
Yeah. It's our
that's really all they need to say, and people
Windows 10
dive right in.
We're due for a good one.
Yeah. So I completely agree. But moving on to my last news story, Paul took all the good ones on FreeSync, so I'm going to go. So Tesla is releasing their Model X.
Just to defend myself, he had all of his stories before I even started.
I left the good ones for you because I knew you needed them more to carry your half of the segment.
This is a 4-door. This looks like a family sedan.
It's a super top secret CUV, and I asked Paul what this meant earlier. He thought it meant compact utility vehicle, but it's actually crossover utility vehicle.
Oh,
I stand corrected. Which is interesting, and I didn't look that up at all, so I still have no idea what that means. But it was caught on video. This car was caught on video during a test drive near the company's headquarters in California. It was spotted on the freeway. Someone took like a little webcam, or I'm sorry, cell phone video of it, and it looks pretty sweet. They have like vertical doors that opens up, you know, like all like a bird and stuff. It looks really nice. But just some specs about it. It's going to weigh 10% more than the Model S, which is their very popular sedan right now, and it's going to share about 60% of the parts content as the Model S. But as you can see, it's definitely a CUV type vehicle.
It's sweet.
It's going to be released in the third quarter of the year with shipments set to start by October.
The back end looks kind of like a Prius.
It looks... Well, I mean, it looks like a Model S. I mean, it's 60% of the parts. It looks just like a Model S. I could see where you might be getting that from, but I think when you see it in person, it won't look nearly as
it looks like
shitty.
It looks like a cool Prius.
It does. I mean, it kind of is because, you know,
that's possible.
Energy efficient stuff. It's all electric. But more importantly, if you look at the other link in that in my little my outline, Paul, you'll see that there's another article there because Elon Musk recently announced that this summer a software update will enable the existing Model S to drive itself autonomously, which is really exciting. Completely hands-free on highways and other major roads. They didn't specify or define what major roads meant, but highways, okay, is pretty cool. Great for commuters and stuff. Now, you'll be able to go from on-ramp to off-ramp with this new functionality. It's just a software update. That's all it takes to have this technology at your fingertips. Or lack thereof, because your fingertips won't even be on the finger wheel.
Does it also come with this energy drink strapped to the
now, I'll explain that. So, similar technologies to this have already been implemented, so you'll see that's a Mercedes, right? That's a Class S.
Oh, I see.
So the Class S actually has the same functionality, except it requires your hands to be on the wheel.
How do you drink the energy drink, though? If you're turning the wheel, you'd have to, like, put your mouth...
Well, that's not what it's for, Paul. That's beyond the point.
Oh.
You're missing the point here.
Okay.
All right, so the Model S requires both hands of the driver to be on the wheel so that it can still verify that the driver, that you, the person behind the wheel, are still in control at all times. So someone found a quick little workaround where they just taped a freaking soda can to the wheel to mimic an actual human hand, and it still works perfectly. So basically, Tesla has come out with the technology minus the can. You don't need the can anymore. You can be completely hands-off, and you can make lane changes and stuff. You can be going down the freeway. It can, you know, do the brakes for you, acceleration, all that kind of good stuff. But apparently you're still legally supposed to be in control of the car. So it's not the type of thing where you can just set it on autopilot and go to sleep.
Okay.
You still have to be aware and conscious of what your car's doing, because in the event that you get into an accident, you are still held liable and you're still considered at fault. You can't be like, oh, the autopilot messed up. So Elon Musk, you know, goes at great lengths to explaining this and clarifying that you still need to be aware. But completely hands-off, I mean, you know, obviously Tesla's not going to be policing people around saying, like, you can't be on your smartphone or texting while you're driving. I'm sure people are going to do it. I mean, obviously, why wouldn't you? But you still are at fault if anything goes south. So.
Okay, so hypothetical question for you here.
Okay.
If instead of Tesla and Elon Musk, this company was owned by, let's say, EA, how much would they charge for this firmware update? For a software update? Because I want to. That's what I've been thinking this whole time. Is like, man,
this is a lot like DLC.
A software update, and suddenly I have like an autonomous chauffeur for my car. That's a pretty freaking sweet update.
That's a big deal.
Anyone who is driving a Model S already,
I hate you.
Like, what? But also, what that means is that they've had this in. They've been planning on this for a while.
Yeah.
Because it has the necessary machinery in there to like autonomously turn the
Oh,
wheel
yeah.
and all that kind
For
of
sure.
stuff. So that's pretty cool too.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, I think.
So how much would EA charge for this update?
Oh, I don't know. Half of your life savings.
DRM. I mean,
Yeah.
not DRM. What's the word I'm looking for?
DLC.
DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah. DLC update.
I don't know.
Well, if the car costs, how much does a Model S cost?
I would probably just,
80 grand?
I'd probably
70,
just,
80 grand?
I'd probably just torrent the software. Honestly,
You
Just
should.
download it for free. Pirate that shit.
But see, that's another question. Like, all right, we're not going to dive into like the pirating, anti-pirating thing, but let's just say in the past, either of us, maybe at one time or another, have delved in the possible, say, pirated software or not fully legitimate software. When you're installing it onto your computer, onto your laptop, and you're trying to do something like, I don't know, whatever the heck you do with pirated software, what's your risk there? Well, maybe you'll corrupt your operating system or get a virus or something like that.
Right.
You're going to pirate software
you could die.
that drives your car for you, Kyle?
True.
And if that software were somehow hijacked by a third party and had a virus installed, what would it do? It would like drive your car into a hall filled with ads or something like that. That's what they'll do.
It's a bunch of billboards.
They'll
take you on a freeway with a shit ton of billboards.
They'll set up a special tunnel, like just with ads everywhere, and then when the adware hijacks your car, it'll just drive you down that tunnel and be like, oh man, I got adware again. I gotta get malware bytes for my Tesla to stop because it keeps driving me down that tunnel.
Oh shit! It came pre-installed with McAfee.
It keeps driving me down that tunnel with all those with all those erection ads in it. Or the
How does it know?
You want Viagra?
How does it know I need that?
I don't know. Anyway.
So yeah, pretty compelling stuff, nonetheless, and yeah, a lot to look forward to with Tesla, because I feel like that's something that a lot of
I like Tesla.
car manufacturers are kind of like, ooh, the autonomous thing, it creeps them out. But Elon Musk is like freaking fearless, man. He's just like, let's do it. I'll just throw 50 large down on the table.
I like Tesla and I like Elon Musk, and
he's like the modern day Tony Stark.
I don't know, he seems like very intelligent. Like there's certain people who it makes me scared that they have a lot of money. Like Elon Musk isn't really one of them. He seems very intelligent, but he seems like he's
sensible.
It seems like he's kind of got the long game in mind, but like with the benefit of the human race in, you know, as the paramount thing. Like
yeah.
I don't know. That's just a feeling I get from him. It's like the feeling you had from Google like 2-3 years ago.
Right.
Which hopefully they'll get back at some
It's
point.
like I said, it's like Tony Stark. I like Tony Stark.
Tony Stark was a little bit more ruthless. Don't you think?
That's true. But I mean, I bet Elon Musk has got some Tony Stark in him behind the scenes. Anyway,
Tony Stark also has a character arc.
He does.
He goes from being more of an asshole to more of a...
Right, so Elon Musk is like Tony Stark in his final stage.
Okay.
He's like final form Tony Stark,
right.
which is okay.
That's all right.
So that leads us into our next segment.
What's your next segment, Kyle?
It's hot and heavy hardware.
Oh, yeah.
When we talk about hardware.
Wait, wasn't that what we were kind of just doing? Never mind, it's a new segment.
No, it's like PC-related hardware, Paul.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
What are we going to start with, Kyle?
All right, so first off, well, let's talk about Broadwell. Broadwell is soon to be launching some desktop CPUs, and we have some SKUs that have been brought to our attention, including the Core i7 5775C.
There's
a C at the end of it.
That's a really stupid name.
5775. It should have been the 5770.
Or the i5
5675C.
What the freaking hell?
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with the 5.
What the hell, Intel?
I don't understand. What you doing?
We already had a 4-digit number, but we could at least ignore one of those digits because it was a 0.
Right.
Now they're throwing a 5 in there and a C.
Too much to remember.
Is the C like a K, but it's a soft C?
They should have paid the extra money and just called it the i7 Swift or something.
Alright, so we also have an i7 5775R, 5675R, and 5575R.
Yes. So both, like, all these processors are set to launch in Q2 of this year, which is exciting. And the two flagship ones, I guess flagship for i7 and i5, which is the 5775C and the 5675C. Those are both going to be 65-watt LGA 1150 chips, so compatible with the Z97 socket. So if you have an existing Z97 board, you don't have to worry about carrying over another generation, getting a new generation of motherboard to be tied to the CPU. It just works. The C suffix, what's interesting is that there's no K. So what happened to the K, and why is there a C now?
It's thought to be a new way to indicate that these are unlocked multiplier processors.
Right.
Why Intel would move from unlocked with the K
I have no idea.
Unlocked with the... What?
Both C and K are in the word unlocked. I didn't see anything wrong with K. I don't understand what kind of rebranding they're trying to undergo by changing the suffix to a C. It just makes things more confusing. Yeah, why would Intel move from unlocked to unlocked? Because they're both C and K. They're right next to each other in the word unlocked. C maybe meaning core? I mean, what if it was O? I mean, O might work. Overclock or something, but it's still stupid because then it looks like a 0. I don't understand what's going on, and nobody else does either. In the article, it says, still under speculation. There haven't been any confirmations on why the suffix has changed. But
it's like, you know what we needed, Kyle?
What do we need?
More confusion among the CPU's naming conventions.
Because it was not confusing enough. So anyway, while the nomenclature is a bit unsettling and disappointing, I will tell you a little bit about each of these chips. So the 5775C, every time I say it, it's like Johnson! Oh! God damn! If you didn't get that, you should go watch Part A on Paul's channel. But that chip, the flagship i7 chip, runs at 3.3 gigahertz base clock with a 3.7 gigahertz turbo. It's got 4 cores and supports 8 threads, so hyperthreading is once again introduced in this line. The chip has a total of 6 megabytes of cache and sports the Iris Pro graphics 6200. Yes, Iris Pro. Nice. The i5 5675 chip. C chip. I keep forgetting the C because it's just... It runs a 3.1 gigahertz base with 3.6 gigahertz turbo. All right, so a little bit lower than the i7. It also has 4 cores and supports 4 threads. So just like the last generation of Intel CPUs, you won't be getting hyper-threading with an i5.
So, wait, was that all of them?
And it's got 4 megabytes of cache as opposed to the 6 megabytes of cache. So 4 megabytes of cache on the i5 and 6 megabytes of cache on the i7. All right, and you're also getting the Iris Pro graphics again, 6200. What were you gonna say?
I have speculation. That's all I have right now. Is speculation.
Yeah.
All right. So
let's hear it.
I've in the past tried to give some sort of rhyme, reason, or explanation to the naming conventions that Intel goes for with their processors. Pointless. I think the conclusion I have come to in the past is that, well, what you're dealing with here when you're selling socketed CPUs to people is obviously whoever's buying that is building their own system. You don't buy a socketed CPU unless you build your own system.
Right.
And it's a group of people who are into specs and numbers and letters and all that kind of thing. So who cares? It doesn't matter as long as you can identify what CPU you're gonna get.
CPU.
What CPU you're gonna get. So here's the thought that jumps into my head right now, and this is based on sort of a bit of information. You shut up, dog.
Yeah, sorry, my neighbors are the worst neighbors in the world. They have 3 dogs that they keep outside all the time, and they're just constantly barking and fighting each other.
I hate
it's like a dog fight out there. I should call it Animal Protective Services. It's terrible. Anyway, go on.
So here's my speculation. The only reason that pops into my head why they would put a C at the end of that instead of a K is because they're trying to dissuade people from the expectation that these will overclock in the same way that K-SKU CPUs have overclocked in the past.
What?
Yes. That's my theory. We'll see if this plays out, right? Look, here's my reasoning.
So you think they won't overclock as well?
Yes, I think they won't overclock as well. Excuse me.
Because Skylake?
They're already lower TDP. They're 65 watt TDP. That is the benefit of Broadwell. Broadwell was really built towards being a mobile chip. Their emphasis and their focus on it was making it extremely power efficient. They were very successful in that regard, and a lot of Broadwell-based laptops, for example, do a really fantastic job as far as power consumption and that type of thing go.
Yeah.
But because of that, when it comes to the desktop side, you don't get a whole lot of improvement, at least from, again, the early information that we have.
Yeah.
So to me, what this is saying is Intel's looking at this and they're saying what they're looking at is they're looking at the 4770K and the 4790K, which are already out, which already drop into a 1150 socket Z97 motherboard.
Right.
And this is sort of a drop in on top of that. It seems to me to indicate more like they're going to be gearing this towards like, look, build a new system and it's going to be very power efficient. Build a new system and it's going to be very.
I definitely get that
sense.
sense.
You can run quiet. You can make a nice silent system. It'll get the job done, and it's not going to. You're not going to need crazy tons of fans or radiators and all that kind of thing, which is okay.
Yeah,
that's okay. I mean, that's not terrible. It's less exciting for enthusiasts,
right?
But again, I'm totally speculating here. But if I had to guess right now why they're going with this crazy effed up naming convention with the 5 on the end and the C. It's because they're trying to position this more as a stepping stone. Like, hey, if you're getting Broadwell right now and you're on Z97 right now, even though it's been out for a while, here's some options for you that are more power efficient. Where instead of selling this as a, here's Broadwell, here's the new line of processors, here's our flagships. It's like Devil's Canyon. Devil's Canyon last summer. They were like, it's called Devil's Canyon. You would buy these and you would overclock them. And we have a dual core like for $75 that you could overclock to, and it's Devil's Canyon. Like
from the devil.
It seems to me like they're not necessarily positioned these in the same way, and not using K on the end, which everyone by now has, at least if you're an enthusiast, has ingrained in their head is K means overclockable, and I should be able to get more bang for my buck out of that.
So it is a marketing thing. It's definitely a marketing thing.
Maybe they're trying to kind of steer people away from that idea.
But then at the same time, if they're catering it to more of like a tame, less enthusiast demographic, then why make them unlocked at all? Like, why even have the option for overclocking if someone's looking for a power efficient solution and you're not an enthusiast? Then
because they couldn't get away with launching Broadwell desktop socketed processors and not having an overclocked model. People would have.
I think they could have though,
people would have gone crazy.
I think they could have though, because making the 14 nanometer architecture took so long.
You get a bunch of people, because the fear in the enthusiast community for quite some time has been Intel abandoning us, Intel going all BGA, all non-socketed. You buy your motherboard and the CPU's already on there type of deal. SoC type systems. The fear has been like Intel's not going to give us the opportunity for choice anymore and let us drop in any CPU that we want anymore. And as a result of that, Intel, I think, has responded positively at least over the past couple of years, and they said, no, we're going to stick with this. We're still going to provide the enthusiast community with what they want, and you're going to be able to overclock and all that good stuff. But the idea I've gotten from Broadwell is it's not necessarily going to be a powerhouse launch. It's not going to be, here's the new CPU, you're going to get 15 to 20% more performance. It seems like it's going to be more of like, hey, here's a new option for you guys. It's got some good features. It's got power efficiency there. And then Skylake, which at one point people were speculating was going to launch as early as a month after Broadwell.
Right.
Now we're hearing it's a little bit later than that, which I think makes more sense.
Yeah.
Skylake will be the new platform later this year, probably towards Q4.
It's still a much narrower gap than Intel's release period cycle in the past.
Broadwell on the desktop was the last year and a half for Intel, as far as the TikTok goes, was a little wonky.
Yeah,
it wasn't the cadence wasn't as normal. You could speculate that it was because of their issues with yields and the manufacturing process, or you could speculate that it's because AMD hasn't really been pushing them much. But we had a Haswell refresh instead of a Broadwell. And last year in June, and I think that's kind of what's kind of pushing things back a little bit further. But yeah, my expectations for Broadwell are not crazy high, at least when it comes to like.
By the way.
Oh,
we broke 200.
200.
Sorry.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much. This is amazing.
This is such a milestone for us.
It really is. It really is. It doesn't seem like a lot, but I mean, coming from us, we started this 5 episodes ago, 5 weeks ago. It's been a month about, and
you didn't update the title of the show, Kyle.
We are still finding our groove. We're still getting into the swing of things.
No, I'm sorry.
Thank you guys so much.
Positive right now.
And I see people blowing up the chat saying like, "Hey, let's recruit more people." Like, you guys have been awesome about sharing this and tweeting to your friends and stuff like that. So this is a huge milestone.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Very proud.
We're gonna stay positive.
Hell yeah.
From here on out.
All right, dick jokes. What do you got?
Dick.
If you're just joining us.
Let's move on. Let's go for 250 with dick jokes.
Ayo.
All right.
All right. So very some good information. I think we had a good conversation about Broadwell.
That was fun.
Desktop CPUs, very exciting nonetheless, regardless of what Intel has planned. But let's move on to the next piece of hardware for this segment, which is the HyperX Predator PCIe SSD, which has just launched. You can buy it immediately in both 240 gig and 480 gigabyte capacities, with a 960 gigabyte version in the works.
Ooh, it's got a black PCB.
It's got a black PCB, yeah.
Oh,
Johnson.
I need. If anyone from Kingston is watching, actually, I owe Kingston a video right now.
You do?
I need to do my Kingston video so I can
do
hit
an
them up.
unboxing
So
right
I can
here.
hit them up for one of these.
Just ruin my segment, Paul.
That was a short video.
But anyway, this is really exciting stuff. So it's going to be in the form of a M.2 drive, but it's going to come with an HHHL adapter. So that's half height, half length adapter, which basically slots into your PCIe slot in your motherboard, and that will give you speeds up to 1,400 megabytes per second read and 1,000 megabytes per second write, which is excellent. Marvell controller.
Marvell 88SS9293.
Yes.
Thank God.
Thank God it's
Thank
Marvell.
God.
Yeah.
No, that's a good controller from everything I've heard. This is exciting.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this.
It's really cool looking. I'm gonna hit up.
Wait, what was
I'm gonna hit up
throughput? Gen 2x4. That's fine.
Gen 2x4. Yeah.
That's plenty.
I'm gonna hit them up for a sample.
No.
I'm gonna do it before you do.
Where are you gonna put your stupid sample?
What do you mean? Where am I gonna put it? In my rig.
In your test, in your X99. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kyle.
How dare you? I'm sorry. How dare you? He was like a brother to me.
Don't hit me. That was terrible. That was terrible. I apologize to you and to everyone.
Unsub. Unsub.
It was jealousy. I spoke out of jealousy. Make Kyle cry. Let's go over the specs, Kyle. There's specs here, Kyle.
This is a spectacular episode, if I may say.
Actually, no one can even see you crying because.
What? Oh, god damn it!
Well, you didn't put us in the corner.
The worst. What do you mean? Oh.
I mean, when I'm showing this, we're not there anymore.
I'm still learning. It's my first stream.
Kyle set up OBS today.
I did, and so far I think it's been great.
It's been great.
So screw you.
It's been very solid. All right.
Yeah.
So, M.2 2280, so 80 millimeters long. That's going to fit in a lot of the Z97 and X99 boards that are out right now.
Yep.
240 and 480 gig capacities, and then like Kyle was talking. So really, you want the 480 though? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
yeah,
man.
for sure.
So. If you get the 240, you're obviously dealing with
cutting some performance.
So here's the thing with SSDs. A lot of the time. Wait, wrong button.
The higher the capacity, the better the performance. Generally.
Not always. So
generally,
here's what we're looking at.
Typically,
you have a controller,
usually
a controller chip on the board, and then that controller has a certain number of lanes or pathways that it can communicate with. Then there's a certain number of actual NAND devices, NAND packages. That are also on the PCB. They're all connected up to that controller. So what you're looking at here is probably like an 8-channel controller, and when you have a 480 gig capacity drive, you have 8 NAND modules that it's able to access all at the same time. So it's like looking at like a RAID 0 with 8 drives configuration versus a RAID 0 with 4 drives, for example.
Yeah.
So it's a 240 gig capacity. You have less NAND modules to connect to, so it's probably not fully taking advantage of that controller.
True.
As a result, based on these numbers I'm looking at right here, at least if you're buying this and you're planning on actually making use of that performance, the 480 gig seems like it would be the way to go, because you drop from 1,000 megabytes per second down to 600.
It's amazing what a difference the capacity makes. You're getting literally like about 33% increase in performance in writes.
It's still so fast. Your reads are still the same. You still have 1,400
write performance is where it's at. Yeah.
600 megabytes per second. I'm less excited about because
it's what's already available pretty much.
Because there's SATA Rev 3 SSDs that can do 550, 570-ish.
SATA.
Maybe, but anyway, no. I mean, that's definitely no reason to like pass the drive up.
Did it say there's no specs for the 960 model?
This only has the 240. And
so that'll yield even higher write speeds, I would imagine. Really exciting stuff. So good job, HyperX. I'll be hitting you up soon. Love you. All right, and my last bit on this segment, hot and heavy hardware, is the Amazon Fire TV Stick. So I've kind of strayed away a little bit from the core PC DIY stuff.
So this runs hot and it's very heavy, and it might potentially break your HDMI port if you plug it into it.
And
That's
it's
why
hard.
It's included in hot and heavy.
And you can wear it. That's right. So this is this has been a huge thing lately, is like these little streaming devices, right? Where you can stream your Amazon, your Hulu, your Netflix, your YouTube, all that stuff from your TV without actually having a dedicated HTPC or having to use something like Xbox and stuff like that. So this is a $40 HDMI stick, plugs right into an HDMI port in your TV. It's from Amazon, so it's directly competing with Google Chromecast. And as you can see, the prices are very similar. That's in euros, but USD is about 40 bucks for the Fire TV and about 35 for the Chromecast. So very similarly priced. Definitely an indication that they are going head-to-head. Amazon's really trying to compete with Google on this front. You're going to be getting stuff like Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, like I just said. But most importantly, Amazon Prime is probably going to be what's targeted most because it is an Amazon product. So right when you open up, right when you turn on the device and you enable it, you're probably going to be granted or presented with all of Amazon's instant video.
Why don't you read down these specs real quick, Kyle?
All the specs, I can't read that. Why don't you read it?
I'm just kidding.
Still, oh, okay, you're making a point. That's the terribly
very small,
awful quality. But I do have some specs for you because I was actually, okay, so a little bit of personal information. My fiance just recently moved in with me, and she brought her TV with her, which we now have in the bedroom. And so we were like, well, we have a TV in here, but we don't have cable because cable sucks. Everyone knows that.
I thought you were going somewhere else then.
Totally, no, you're wrong. So we were like, all right, so we have a TV in our room. What are we going to do with it? Do we hook up do we build an HTPC for it? I was like, why don't we get something like Chromecast? And then I was like, I read about the Amazon Fire TV Stick, and I was like, all right, let's start comparing the two. All right, so dual core versus single core. You actually get 2 cores on the Fire TV Stick as opposed to 1 on the Chromecast.
That's nice.
You also get twice the amount of memory, which is very nice, and 4 times the storage with the TV, with the Fire Stick TV thing.
Wait, how much storage is on there?
I think it's like, I want to say 8 gigs. Does it say? I don't remember.
It says 1 gig.
That's 1 gig of memory. Yeah, 8.
Yeah, the Chromecast, flash storage. So
right, flash storage. Yeah, you get 8 gigs on the Amazon and 2 gigs on Chromecast.
Okay.
But fundamentally, I was thinking you could theoretically get both of these and be just as happy because they're very different. Even though they seem very similar, at first glance, Chromecast is more of like a mobile, like it integrates really nicely with your mobile devices, right? So if you're laying in bed and you're on your tablet and you're like, oh, I would love to watch this Netflix movie on the big screen, you can hit the little Chromecast icon in the bottom left corner, or bottom right corner, and then it all of a sudden projects to your TV, and that's really nice. But the Amazon Fire TV Stick is different in a way where it's almost more of like an actual TV, where you don't need the tablet, you don't need your smartphone to cast to your television. It comes with a remote, which Chromecast does not. So it's more plug and play, I feel. You don't actually need a separate device to really benefit from it. You can kind of just navigate with the remote and all of a sudden be watching Netflix or Hulu and shit like that. So I feel like, why not get both? They're 30, 40 bucks a piece. And they're vastly different from each other, but they both have good functionality on their own end. So I don't know. I thought it was worth mentioning because I'm looking into buying one.
You might actually get the Amazon Fire TV Stick?
I might get the Amazon Fire TV Stick for my particular situation because when I go into my bedroom and I'm just laying in bed, I just want to have a remote. I don't want to actually be like, oh, I need my tablet with me in order to cast something to the TV, right?
Okay.
And that also brings up the issue of battery life, right? Like, is my tablet going to die? Now I have to have my tablet plugged into something, into the wall, and then I'm casting things, which is nice, I guess, maybe for a living room environment. But for something like the bedroom where you just want to turn something on and just sit back and watch some Netflix, I feel like the Amazon Fire TV Stick is a very convincing option.
We actually don't have a TV in the bedroom.
Okay.
It's a feng shui thing, I think, to some degree.
Okay.
So I guess I see less use for that. I mean, but I'm also coming.
yeah.
I'm also coming from a place where I have an HTPC in the living room.
So do I. Yeah.
So I definitely see the value of these devices. They're inexpensive, like a Chromecast or this Amazon Fire Stick or whatever it's called.
Right.
Like, definitely see the value. Although for myself personally, it doesn't jump out at me as something like, ooh, that'd be cool, simply because actually, I mean, if I'm watching TV in the living room, I have an HTPC there.
No, yeah, totally.
That can access Chrome or can access Amazon or anything like that. So
yeah, like I said, the only reason why I thought of the story and why it interests me and why this product piqued my interest is because I just got that TV in my bedroom where I don't have an HTPC, I don't have cable, I don't have anything connected to it, and I was just looking for a quick, easy, cheap solution that's plug and play, and this kind of just popped up at the right time. So. And then there's also Roku and stuff too. You know, there's other options out there, but
definitely wouldn't be the first time Kyle's looked for a cheap, easy, quick solution.
Ask my fiance; she knows. Oh wait, that sounds terrible.
Oh my god!
I should not have said that. That just like completely. All right, let's move on. All right, on to the next
this is
segment.
live, right? There's
we can edit this. We can't edit this out. Oh god, I'm totally screwed. You put words in my mouth, Paul.
I did not. You said
words
that.
in my mouth every time. You bring out the worst in me. You really do.
You know what we need is a quick distraction.
Here we go. Do a dance, Paul.
Oh, crap, Kyle.
Dance like a monkey.
Can I install this?
Yeah, go ahead and install that.
Okay.
All right. So, on to the next segment. This is the world-famous Face-Off. It's not world-famous at all, but it sounds cool.
I sure hope this doesn't mess with anything.
No, I installed it on my laptop, and it worked all right.
Were you streaming live to the internet while you installed it on the laptop?
No, so it should be exciting and interesting.
Okay.
But, all right. People are still chatting up about the last bit. All right, so Face Off, if you guys are new to the show, is where Paul and I go head-to-head in a particular video game, generally a really cheap and shitty video game that's online that we can just play really quick. And then the loser has to do something embarrassing. By the way,
what?
You never owned up to your last...
What was I supposed to do?
Defeat. I don't know if we ever decided what you were supposed to do, but you lost...
Well, you can't be like, you never did the thing we never decided that you were supposed to do.
I know! I'm just telling you that now we have to figure out two things for you once you lose this.
My punishment should be that we actually play a game that you haven't already, like, you know, ringered yourself up on.
Alright, this game involves one button. We each press one button, so there's no way I could have gotten better.
The selling point for QWOP was it's only 2 buttons, Kyle. And yet
QWOP
somehow...
is 4 buttons, actually.
I thought we were each... Oh,
QWOP is right. 4 times the button pressing.
I need to...
So you guys need to figure out a punishment for Paul. A penalty for Paul for losing QWOP 2 weeks ago. And then figure out another penalty for this week when he loses this game.
Unity player needs my permission to run.
Oh yeah, just... No, what are you doing? Go to the... Enable the... See the red X? Just enable the pop-up for this time.
Oh, okay. Always allow plugins.
Always! Alright, so this game I literally found in a matter of seconds, so you know it's going to be really terrible. But I thought it was kind of funny.
Do we need the keyboard?
It's super simple. Yeah, go ahead and haul the keyboard over here.
I hope we have enough cable length.
And I need you guys to be our cheerleaders. You guys got to cheer for, like, Team Paul or Team Kyle, alright? I want to hear the text in the chat. Which is impossible, but go ahead and go to 2 players.
This is called Tug the Table.
Tug the Table is the name of the game, and
let's see if we can make
it's not quite as suggestive as you might imagine. It's actually very literal. That's all we're doing is tugging a table. Oh, nice, beautifully centered there.
So I push W. I push W.
You have to push W, and I have to push the up button.
Up button.
Up key, and that's all we do. You ready?
Okay.
I've got to tug the table on... I basically have to pull you to my side, and you have to pull me to your side. And it's the best out of 5 who wins. Or the first one to 5 who wins.
Okay.
You ready?
Okay, ready.
Let's go. Tug it!
Well,
oh, I got you!
You were hopping!
What do you mean I was hopping?
I had... Oh, there's a plank? What?
Oh, it's a plank now. I didn't know it changed.
Okay. Alright.
Alright, let's go. Oh, no. Oh, what the fuck? I got you
played
again.
this before.
No, I swear to God. The only time I played it was right when I discovered it earlier today.
My immediate thought was this was clearly going to be like spam the button as fast as you can, and yet somehow you knew to time your little things.
No, I didn't. I didn't cheat.
Alright, here we
You
go.
can pick the game next time. See, look, I was pressing it as fast as possible that time. I was pressing it so fast, and you still lost.
That was so terrible.
Don't worry, I'm going to win soon. It'll be over. Shh. It'll be over soon. Come you son of a
yeah?
bitch!
Yeah?
God!
How you like that one?
There. Now,
It's like
now will you stop complaining?
It's like Tug your Table.
See? All right, let's go.
Yeah.
It's another thing. Oh, come on. Yeah! Yeah! How come your head didn't pop off? My head popped off last time.
Why? Why?
All right. Do you want... All right. Ready? Go.
Oh,
Do it as fast as possible. I feel like I'm hacking Linus. I don't know, man.
Your game is
I'm just
stupid.
better at games than you.
It's
clearly...
I don't think that your games or your segment are legitimate.
There's nothing illegitimate
games.
about that, alright? It's
Stupid.
perfectly fair and square. So guys, figure out 2 terrible things to do to Paul for losing the last 2 games.
Which again, you could have had me
Tug your Johnson.
agree to beforehand, but you did not.
That's an automatic agreement you go into. It's a verbal contract
I see.
when we start off face-off. Otherwise you can walk out of the room.
Kitty just suggested something.
A t-shirt giveaway wouldn't be bad, like giving away a t-shirt.
I'm afraid to click it.
It's nothing too embarrassing.
Shower with your dad simulator.
Oh, Kitty. I love you.
Kitty wants
amazing.
us to do the shower
Well,
with
you
your
gotta
dad.
play it on there so people can see it.
I can't.
Or if it's too
on
difficult.
It's on Twitter,
If it's
and I'm
okay.
not logged into Twitter over there.
All right. But anyway, post your penalties in the. You got a shotgun of beer on the next episode? That'd be cool.
I'm shotgun a beer right now.
Well, is that a full beer? You are a chugging champion. You went toe to toe with the.
You're not supposed to talk about that.
No, I'm not.
You'll get me in trouble.
You went toe to toe with someone very inclined to drinking, like very, a good drinker, fast drinker. All right, so you got to pound that right now.
This is Anchor Steam. This feels like a waste of Anchor Steam.
It's Anchor
Steam's a
Steam.
pretty good beer.
I mean, it is, but we've got more. We got more in the fridge.
Is this a paid game, by the way? Shower with Your Dad Simulator 2015?
It better not be. I hope not.
Is there an updated version?
Look at there's like little kids dancing in front of his dad's junk. I'm sorry, you guys have no idea what we're talking about.
There's little 8-bit penises. That is true. And like they got the chest hair.
Look at there's 3 dads
Some
showering
guys
together. Did you see the
doing-
3 dads? They were showering. They were like, like a little Scottish team. Well, the dicks are just dangling.
This looks really funny.
I want to play it. We should live stream this tonight.
Yeah.
Shower with your dad simulator.
Paul must let Joe feed him whatever she wants next episode.
What?
Interesting.
Joanna's not replacing me. All right.
Oh.
Shouldn't have started that rumor because it's not gonna happen.
So Kyle, if we must delve into this, because Kyle, all right. So Joanne, aka Joanne Tech Lover on YouTube, recently hit a milestone of 40,000 subscribers. Mm-hmm. Way to go, Joanne. She's been doing very consistent videos over there.
Congratulations, Joanne.
If you like watching some hardware reviews, she does a good job. And so we were congratulating her. I was like, jokingly, oh, if you pass Kyle, then you can take his place on Awesome Hardware. And everyone took it so seriously.
What if she passed you? Then what would you do?
I'd probably shoot myself.
I'm not gonna shoot myself.
Just shoot myself in the face.
I won't let that happen.
With joy.
She has been growing.
I'd be so happy for
quite
her.
rapidly, however.
No. So here's the thing, Kyle.
Okay.
You are also growing quite rapidly.
I am at the thought of your delicious soul patch.
No, you're also doing quite well, and I would not have said that in jest unless I knew that both of you had healthy, growing YouTube channels.
No, of course.
And everyone's happy.
Yeah.
Okay. What are we getting into though? We're supposed to do Q&A, by the way.
Q&A.
People, please ask us questions if you do so desire.
All right.
We'll see if we can answer some of them, whether they be on the Twitters.
That's right.
Or on the Awesome Hardware Twitch channel.
This has been a pretty lax episode of Awesome Hardware, so you guys could probably get some pretty juicy answers out of us.
I didn't pound my beer yet, though. And
all right.
People are going to call me out because we said we were going to do that.
I did see 30 people say chug, 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 so unless you want to disappoint all those fans, I think you should really pound the beer.
Here's to all of you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That was a beautiful chug. Well done. Well done. That was hardly a punishment.
That was delicious.
Mm. I should lose more often.
I might burp soon.
I'm gonna lose the next game.
Just to warn you guys.
So while the bubbles in Paul's stomach are settling,
they're percolating
and slowly percolating up to his throat, give us some questions, guys. Ooh. Yes. What do we got?
Still feel like that was a waste of Anchor Steam.
No.
Oh, excuse me.
We can always buy more. It's on sale for like $8 down the street.
Oh, really? It's a good price.
It is.
I'm not gonna barf all over Rage.
Barfs!
I'll at least wait until we cut the stream to do
Barfs! I'm tired of
Why are you hearing... on Social Blade?
I'm tired of hearing 970 because I was trying to see if I was in fact growing quickly because I haven't checked in a while.
Wait, this looks like a legitimate question.
What is it?
DC Reagan asks, I have a Thermaltake Tough Power 7 something. It's a 750 watt. The M seems to say it's modular. 80 plus gold. And a Roswell Thor V2 Gaming ATX full tower computer. And wait, now people are scrolling it.
And what you think of the part I get, Paul and Kyle, tell me what you recky think of them. And I am by part of as get money to get... Fuck you! Fuck you!
Yeah,
you are totally trolling. No one talks like that.
I think
and I'm sorry if you really do.
Trolling.
Yeah, he totally was.
I read the first half of that question like that was going good.
He trolled us well.
And I think DC Reagan, well done. Well
use a dick. Use a dick hole.
We walked right into that one.
Use more of a dick hole than Jay. Good Lord.
There's something about a YouTube app. Thoughts about the GTX 960 4GB. This is from What's Datingly Felon.
That's what I think.
Kyle with a very eloquent response.
I win.
I feel bad about the 964 gig because when the 962 gig came out, everyone was I was among the people who were like, oh, it's only got 2 gigs of memory. The 4 gig is I'll tell you,
it's the memory bus too.
I tell you, yeah, the bus is still 128-bit, and that's still a limiting factor. I'll tell you what though.
What?
In like 6 months to a year, when Windows 10 is out, and DirectX 12 is a thing, and there's the possibility of DirectX 12 being able to stack the memory.
That's a lie.
2 960s with 4 gigs. That would be kind of interesting. I'd be interested to see like where the limiting factors are there. I feel like the GPU is still a bit limited, and the memory bandwidth is still a bit limited.
Yeah, but you can get 4 gigs off of a 980, so why wouldn't you just get a 980 for $400?
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true. No, well, you get it because you could get 2 960s for the same price and get 8 gigs if it's DirectX 12 and the memory stacks.
True, if the memory stacks, though,
only
assuming
that.
But
it would also only be for DirectX 12 games, so it's a very like theoretical, possibility or that sort of thing.
And the more power consumption and heat along with it. So, I mean,
yeah,
I don't.
So, yeah. My opinion for the GTX 960, like when it came out, was I wanted it to be the GTX 960 Ti, or whatever the GTX 960 Ti is going to be. Yeah. Like, I was expecting the 960 to be a $250 card that was more towards the performance of
a 970. Closer to a 970, yeah.
Yeah. What it actually was a $200 card, which is a different price point than the X60 card had been in the past.
Yeah.
And that's why for me I was like, oh, whatever. But really it's just a nomenclature thing. They decided to make the 960 what it is, and now I'm kind of more waiting for the 960 Ti with more memory bandwidth and all that good stuff. Anyway.
Yeah. All right, we got another one. Has anyone ever told you that you look like Dominic Cooper? Oh my gosh.
You?
That's crazy.
Who's Dominic Cooper? I don't know who that is.
I never knew who Dominic Cooper was either, but a friend of mine actually posted on my Facebook when I still used to use Facebook like a year or two ago. She was like, I never realized how much you look like this guy. And she posted a video of an interview of this guy. Look him up on Google. Let's show everyone. And people can take a vote. We'll do a straw poll. We'll do a chat poll. with this guy named Dominic Cooper, who I actually agreed. Like, it was one of the first times where I was like, I could actually see that. Usually when most people be like, hey, you look just like so-and-so, you're like, fuck, if I look nothing like him. But this is the first time I was like, yeah, I can kind of see it. Especially in interviews, like his mannerisms and the way he always talks with his hands, which I never do, really. But
he was in Mamma Mia.
He was in Mamma Mia! I was pretty much like saying I was in Mamma Mia, which is so cool. And he's a sexy man. He's attractive. You know, I think he's got like the little pug eyes, like I have. I have little pug eyes. Yeah. But I had never heard of him.
He has a fuller beard. See, like you're still looking to connect.
Because
you're still looking to connect to the mustache with the chin strap.
Yeah. Well, the only difference between him and me is a Sharpie.
True.
You know, I just need to fill in the little blanks, and I'm good. I'm a superstar.
It also looks like he might have put some product in his hair. Maybe done some.
I actually have a really
styling.
light pomade that I use. It smells like citrus.
Oh, is that what that was?
It's lovely.
It's quite pleasant.
Yeah. So there. Anyway.
Oh wait, there was another question here that was real.
Another question.
All right. Technological Daniel asks, how did you get started with all your tech knowledge, and are there any tips to learn what the heck anybody is talking about?
Okay.
No.
No.
No, yes.
No, yeah.
Let's see. So for me, how did I get started with my tech knowledge? So for me, like, it has to go all the way back to, like, I mean, when I was really young,
He was a baby.
I would go back to, like, Legos.
Okay.
Like Legos early on. Toys that allow you to be creative and build things.
Okay.
I think it started from there. When I was early teenager, like 13, 14, my dad, who does some computer programming, although I've never really gotten into programming, we had a Commodore 64 back in the day.
Yeah.
And he kind of taught me how to like load games off the tape drive. When I was like 14, we got our first ever like actual desktop, like it's a Hewlett-Packard system like that, and I started learning on that. It was like Windows 3.1. And then over the years, it just kind of built into like me being interested in computers, learning how to use the operating systems, to the point where with that Hewlett-Packard machine we got, I had looked and found that adding more memory was a great way to make it go faster. So like that was the first excuse me, like mod that I did or upgrade on a computer was I bought like I think it was just regular RAM at the time, just like not even DDR RAM or anything like that. It's just standard not SODIMMs. I can't even remember. But yeah, upgrading the memory. But through high school, I was just into kind of like keeping using the computer for various things. And then I would say how I kept up with knowledge as far as computers goes, at least in like the 2000s era when I didn't really have a whole lot of money to spend and buy computers or computer hardware myself, was I read Maximum PC, the magazine. Yep. I would say the equivalent of that now, because there's still magazines out there. I mean, Maximum PC's still around, or like there's other PC hardware magazine. There's a CPU magazine as well, but that's really kind of translated over to the websites, where you can go to just kind of read and like learn about the hardware that's out there. So
early 2000s, you were probably still reading articles from like Gordon Ma Ung and stuff, right?
Oh yeah,
that's pretty sweet. I didn't
Gordon,
realize you've been
only
following him for so long. Gordon
only went to he left Maximum PC like last year, and he went over to PC World.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of writers there too who I gain a lot of respect for, just because I feel like you can really tell when somebody's kind of giving it to you straight and not like BSing to some degree. And I always appreciated that about Maximum PC, was I felt like they would just like be like, look, here's the situation, here's what we did, here's what we discovered, here's how things worked, here was our experience. Yeah. And it never seemed like it was fluffed up or anything like that. So I always appreciated that. But yeah, just find people who you respect, find people who are knowledgeable. There's so many communities out there online, whether it's on YouTube or the forums that we talked about earlier in the show, where you can go and just read. I mean, research, read, find other people who are doing builds, read their experiences with them. and you know, there's a wealth of knowledge to learn on the internet. So it's really, I look back on it and I'm like, oh, you know, the resources I had, like you know, Maximum PC being as popular as it was and everything when I was growing up, or when I was younger, aren't there quite as much anymore, especially when you talk about print. But I mean, the wealth of knowledge that's available online, or like the amount of like how-to videos on YouTube to do anything, are amazing, and a lot more full-featured and a lot more detailed than you know, than what we had 10, 15, 20 years ago. So the ability to learn is really very exciting right now, or the you know, the avenues to learn and to grow.
It's a good time to be a PC enthusiast, that's for sure. It always is, because it's always getting better with every year that we get to enjoy it. But I guess for me, like, when did I start getting into tech? It was like probably when I got my job at Newegg, because I really didn't know too much about computers and system building and stuff before I joined the Newegg TV crew, which was just you and our boss at the time. It was literally just the three of us, and right away, I remember, like, within the first 2 or 3 months, like, once I had, like, learned all the different parts of a computer and I had watched you build one, and I'd actually built one or two myself in that time, I had gotten the itch. Like, I was just on a really crappy Acer laptop at the time, and I was so, after having been exposed to, like, raw processing power and being able to do pretty much anything on a computer, I really wanted that experience for myself at home as well. And so, and not just that, like, I saw the excitement, and I learned the excitement of building your own computer and, like, booting it up for the first time and stuff like that, you know, that I had done in the studio. And I was like, I want to do this, like, personally, you know, I want to customize my rig, I want it to be color coordinated, you know, and I got excited about it. It was like it was the first something. It was the first thing like that I had ever done. And so I remember after building my first computer in 2011, I kind of got hooked after that. And I was like,
and the funny thing is, I think it was kind of bouncing off of you, and you, like, going to, like, oh, I want it to be color coordinated, and you got the white cable extensions.
Yeah, you remember that.
600T, and I was always like the function over form kind of standpoint. Like I don't care what it looks like, you know, as long as it's powerful or whatever.
Yeah.
But that kind of started moving me towards the, like, oh, well, it's a hobby, and it's a passion, and it's, you know it's something people are, you know, enthusiasts about. So, you know, that's why people kind of go take those extra steps to, you know, build custom water-cooled systems or that kind of thing. You know, it's because it's something that they've taken as far as they can. As far, you know, there's only so far you can go when you're saying, like, how much power can you pack into $1,000 PC or whatever, and, like, you can do builds and all that kind of stuff. But at a certain point, it's like, oh, well, how can I make this a showpiece as well? You know, how can I, you know, add the lighting, or, you know, do that little attention to detail that kind of makes it unique or makes it your own? Have
the aesthetic reflect, you know, accurately how you feel about the rig, and you know, kind of like its performance and stuff. So you really brought a lot of the technical aspects to the whole genre for me. You know, you taught me a lot. You taught me a lot of what I didn't know at first. And then I kind of brought some of the flair, some of the style, you know, kind of dropped the mic in there. But you were always
brought it up to par,
huh? That's right. But I think between the two of us, we would build the most perfect system in the world.
Is Jay on Twitch?
Yeah, Jay was in here earlier.
What's he saying?
He was telling us that we were dick holes for not paying attention to him and for ignoring him.
Oh, Paul put a slow leak. He put a slow leak in my system. that I'm not going to find until much later, apparently.
Jay, you are a dickhole.
I totally missed. Where'd Jay go?
Dickhole man.
That was all he said, though. He just jumped in there and said that.
So he basically just came into our chat, took a shit, and booked it.
It's kind of like what we did on his forum.
Exactly what we did on his forum, I was going to say.
Nice.
The shit abides. Cool. Any cool other questions here? Good budget sound card and headphone amp. Dude, my Asus Zoner Essence STX is still rocking. I love it. Paired with my DT880 Pros from Biodynamic are still excellent. sound cards aren't one of those things that really advances super quickly like a lot of other components in a computer. So even after 2 or 3 years of use, it's still like one of the better deals that you can find.
If you're looking for a headphone amp, check out Mayflower Electronics.
Yeah,
they do.
And that's like a dedicated one. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a PCIe
they're
card
small.
or anything like that.
They're pretty small. If you guys follow Logan or any of them, they've done a lot of stuff with them before. But having a good headphone amp, especially if you have higher impedance headphones, is
Yes.
like a must.
Right.
And theirs are like pretty much handmade. They're like custom made, and they have battery powered ones as well as wired ones. And my experience with them has been quite fantastic. So
nice.
I have no problem recommending them.
Cool. And I think we've been rambling for quite some time.
We should probably wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Awesome Hardware. Be sure to catch us next week on Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time at twitch.tv/awesomehardware. Side A, again, is on Paul's segment this week, and then Side B, which is what you're watching now, is obviously on my channel. And next week it will be reversed. So Side A on my channel next week, and then Side B on his. And we'll also be at your house, too. It'll be a completely different... It's super easy to understand.
It's a very simple process. It's only when we explain it that it makes it very complicated.
Right. So you'll just have to stay tuned and get used to it to find out more. But you guys will get used to it, too. But thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to both of our channels. That's Paul's Hardware as well as Awesome Sauce Network. And be sure to toss a like on this video as well. And continue sharing this new series with your friends, because hitting that 200 viewer milestone today was just a fucking treat.
I got hard.
It was just a treat. You got hard.
Super hard.
And thankfully you were wearing something. Otherwise I would have been able to see your hardware.
Cut it off now.
Let's cut it off now.
Alright, bye everyone. Thanks for watching.
See you guys next time.